Hello, this is Shade Ketchum, and welcome to a very quick Let's Play of Detective Grimoire. With the latest game in the series, The Mermaid Mask, coming out pretty soon, like a couple of days as I'm recording this, I thought it would be fun to go through the series, as I've grown a bit of an attachment to it over the years. But, unlike a lot of other people who just either start with Secret of the Swamp or Tangle Tower for some reason, probably due to the fact of the confusing naming scheme of the series, we're going to start with the actual beginning. The Newgrounds game that was released back in 2007. Yes, the series started back on Newgrounds, if you couldn't tell by the actual art style here. Coils and Company Fairground. Late last night. So, yes, the style of this game is significantly different to the later games. A bit creepier in some cases. PD file 054. Victim Hugh Everton. Crime murder. At 10:28 last night, a body was found at the local fairground that operates just outside of town. The cleaner, one Jerry Spears, discovered the dead body of his former colleague inside the Hall of Mirrors. That is quite loud. All the evidence points towards murder. The clown, Charles Ringer, who works at the very same fairground, is the main suspect. He seems to have some less than favorable links with the victim. If this grim case remains unsolved, the fairground manager, Mr. Gary Coils, has stated that he will have to permanently shut down operations. Private Detective Grimoire is being called in to clear things up. We've got one evening to find the truth about what happened last night. If Grimoire can't solve this mystery, no one can. I have no idea why the music for that particular part is so loud. I didn't think I would have to adjust the volume, but oh well. If the music is going to be a bit quiet from here, I apologize, but Now, the first major difference between this and the later games, obviously there's no voice acting, aside from some voice grunts occasionally. So I'm just going to have to read all this. If you don't like amateur voice acting, well, you've come to the wrong place. I'm not going to repeat myself again, Grimoire. You're listening this time, right? Something pretty nasty happened here last night. I'd say everyone in that fairground is a suspect. You've only got this one evening to do your thing. Fair question here. Why do we only have one evening? Like, why? Just one night? My thing. I'm gonna try and emulate their voices as best I can from the later games, but I'm not a voice actor. Don't tell me you're getting nervous now. The other guys tell me you're the best at this. You're not gonna let me down, are you? It's your job to talk to the suspects and explore the fairground for clues. You obviously need to take a look at the crime scene. But don't overlook any details, understand? Right. I think I understand. I have a bad feeling about this place. I can't shake it. Everyone is a suspect. It's your job to find out who has a credible alibi and who is lying to you. You should be able to work out who the murderer is by proving everyone else innocent. Ah, if only it were that simple. If you're confused about what to do, don't hesitate to ask me. Alternatively, the tutorial information is available from your notes page, where you can also save your game. Right down here. What's with the mustache? That's neither here nor there. Tell me about it. The thing is here, there, everywhere. So, yeah, you can talk to him more. What was his name again? Officer James. If you do, you unfortunately have to go through this entire dialogue chain again. Just to be able to do this. If you click help, it'll actually take you to the help screen. Or you could just click down here. The objectives, moving, talking, etc., those are all on here. I'm not going to spend time reading all that because it's fairly obvious. Though you can also save your game. And you can look at the locations if you need to remember where people are and such. Your clues menu is exactly what it sounds like. If you've played an Ace Attorney game, it's the same thing. It's where your evidence is. Profiles for where the suspects are, information on them. You will collect profile information about each of the suspects you meet and also the victim. The suspects will begin with a suspect stamp. Once you find out enough information about each suspect, this stamp will change to an innocent stamp. Obviously, one suspect will not be innocent, so that person's stamp will not change. Once you have innocent stamps for all suspects bar one, go speak to Officer James. So, yeah, that's the name of the game. As for moving, just go click. There's someone there. Wait, what? Oh god, I have to do little girl voice. Hi! Oh god, that's terrible. I cannot imitate Faye Mata for the life of me. What on earth? Where are your parents? This is the scene of a crime. I know. That's why I'm gonna help you out, detective. Why did you say it like that? I'm a real detective. In that case, where's your hat? If I had a nickel... Detectives don't have to wear hats anymore. Plus, it messes up my hair. I believe you. Anyway, hat or not, you're still gonna need this. A map of the fairground. Hey, thanks. See you later. I have no idea who that was, but I'm pretty sure she's not the murderer. I sure hope not, anyway. The map is exactly what it says. It's just your location. You can click on the various locations if you want to go there right away instead of just, you know, going one at a time, which is quite useful. But the truth is, we're not going to be needing to do that much. This game is incredibly short, as should be expected by a Newgrounds game. This place is pretty run down, but I can't see any clues yet. There's someone here, too. I'd better get this investigation underway. Hey, you there. Who on earth are you? I'm Detective Grimoire. I came here to solve the murder of last night's mystery. Right, I see it now, the trench coat and everything. Aren't you supposed to wear a hat, too? That's beside the point. Hugh Everton was murdered last night, and you, Charles Ringer, you're a suspect. The main suspect, in fact. Oh, because I'm a clown? Who made that wonderful leap of logic? Look, I know Hugh, and I never, I know Hugh and I never got on, but I can tell you one thing. I'm not capable of murder or anything. Look at me. Is this the face of a killer? Dude, I've seen so many killer clowns in media. You got the Joker, you got Pennywise, you got Sweet Tooth. What kind of question are you asking here? I'm gonna have to get a little more information out of him, I think. I will have to say this. I do wish I could go into the options and adjust the audio. Okay, I'm back. You may have seen a brief cut there. I had to adjust my audio for this, hopefully. Oy. I know it's a Newgrounds game. I wish there was an options menu to adjust the audio. No clues here. This door is jammed. I can't get in this way. What a pain. But yes, you will occasionally see aspects of the clues, profiles, and notes updated as you go along. This funhouse is falling apart. I think it was the victim's job to look after it. There's a small opening here. I might be able to get in this way, but I'm not sure. I'll come back later. As you can suspect, just click on the people, and you can get a quick talking section. You will get more, well, talking points as you get more information. If you're not the killer, what were you doing last night? I was here, of course. You know, being a clown and all that. I left quite late last night, actually. I had a few holdups in the evening, but I didn't see anything suspicious. What was the last thing you saw before you left? Let's see. On my way out, I walked past the Hall of Mirrors and noticed that the door was slightly open. I closed it and carried on through the fairground. The only strange thing about the whole episode was how quiet the Hall of Mirrors door was. It normally lets out a loud creak when you move it. I think that's part of the attraction, you know? The Hall of Mirrors? That's the crime scene. I wonder why the door didn't creak that evening, and why it would be open. How about the fairground? So, you work as the clown at this fairground. How long have you been here? A long time. Too long, in fact. I don't really like the way things are going around here. I have no idea why I haven't left for good. I was appalled when the boss hired Hugh Everton to look after the funhouse. Not only was he useless at his job, he was nearly completely deaf with old age. It's just not practical. Still, no one deserves, well, you know. Hugh was deaf with old age, and not very good at his job? This could be important information. Do you get on with the rest of the staff? That'd be a bit of an exaggeration, I'm afraid. I don't mind Mandy and her... I kinda wish they didn't have the voice, like, grunts. They're charming, but they kinda pop up too randomly. I don't mind Mandy and her uncle. But that Ricky, I'm a top-notch entertainer war character is just too much. He doesn't even like kids. What a joke. He doesn't take any pride in his work. Looks like Charles finds it hard to get on with Ricky War. He's the entertainer, I think. Also, who is Charles to talk about pride with that big hole in his costume? Maybe I should ask him about that. If you don't mind me asking, why is there a big hole in your trousers? Surely you'd want to be a little neater than that, even if you are a clown. To be honest, I'd rather we didn't talk about the unfortunate condition of my frilly clown slacks. That's the first time anyone has ever said that, I bet. Still, there must be more to the story of his ripped clothing. Maybe I can find a clue that will get him to elaborate. And thus we shall. Move over to the hoop game stall. I can't be certain, but I don't think it's possible to win that ring toss game. I'm not going to try my luck anyhow. How is this still, like, louder on my OBS than my actual voice? I wonder why there are so many books. Maybe I'll try asking Mandy about them, I suppose, even though I have never met her before. I know she's right there, but obviously I haven't gotten her name yet. These toys look really cheap. Maybe I should ask Mandy about them. Ahem. Excuse me, miss. Do you work here? I'm pretty sure I do. The name's Mandy. Mandy Farrier. I'm in charge of running this stall game. Or this game stall. You seem a bit young to be working in a place like this, don't you think? Well, that's a typo. You seem a bit young to be a private detective. Oh, are detectives only allowed to wear a hat when they reach a certain age? I'm older than I look. I'll have you know. Anyway, could you tell me a little about yourself? I'm conducting an investigation to find out about last night's murder. Of course you are. Why else would you show up? Unless you're after some candy floss. Did you know it's actually bad for you? My powers of deduction do stretch that far, thanks. I'm not sure what to tell you. I worked here for a little while. I got a job through my uncle. This job is helping me pay for college, but it's a lot of fun, too. I get to hand out toys to kids. Who doesn't want that? I imagine a very miserable person wouldn't like that. I wonder if her uncle is here at the fairground. Probably. How about last night? Could you tell me what you were doing last night? How could I forget, really? I was here late, like I normally am, just kicking about. Eventually, I hear shouts coming from the Hall of Mirrors. And then Jerry, oh, that's the cleaner, he comes running over to me and starts telling me what happened. I helped him call the police. After they showed up, we were allowed to go home. So, you were one of the last people here last night. It seems that way, but I was here at my stall the whole time. I had things to do, you know? I wonder why Mandy stays late every night. I think I should take a look around here before I press her about it. Yeah, we'll get to that, mechanic. It's an interesting idea. The fairground. Do you get on with the other staff here at the fairground? Oh yeah, the guys often argue amongst themselves, but I stay out of it. Charles, the clown, is a pretty hard guy to get on with, but he's got a good heart. I can't say I had a particular dislike for anyone. Except, well, Jerry does get on my nerves, but he's sweet, I guess. I got on well with Hugh, though, although no one could deny he was pretty useless at his job. The funhouse was always in a terrible state. Sometimes I'd try to help Hugh with repairs or ideas for improvements, but he'd never get anything done. I always figured the boss would replace him, but now look what's happened. Sounds like Mandy has an interest in the funhouse. And how about the toys that we were just talking about? I don't want to sound rude, but these toys look pretty cheap. I've never seen these characters anywhere before. What? You've never heard of Turquoise Bunny and his friend Ruby Rabbit? What about everyone's favorite, the King of Scare, Felix? Or Jimmy the Striped Horse? He's quite a new one, actually. Well, that didn't answer anything. If I'm correct, I think those are references to past stuff that the developers worked on, but I'm actually not entirely sure. Oh god, you again. It's you again. You need to go find your parents and go home, I'm afraid. I can't go just yet. You still need my help. I'm quite capable of carrying out this investigation without you, thanks. Although that map is really useful. Really? Have you managed to get into the funhouse yet? There's a small opening to the left of the main door. You can go through there. It'll lead you into a small office where you used to work. Thanks, I guess. How do you... She's gone. What a weird kid. I guess I'll try getting through that opening after I've checked out the scene of the crime. No joke. That is the last time we will see her. Yes. That is, despite, like, how creepy she is, you'd think she would be important to the story, but nope. She's just there to give you a map and information about how to get into the funhouse. That's it. She doesn't even have a profile in here. Because, why? This place is a mess. There's no one here minding the stall. What's this green marker pen doing here? I can't help feeling it's out of place. You can clearly see the Hall of Mirrors through that grubby little window. There's a considerable space behind this table. Looks like there's no one there at the moment. But maybe someone could be there. Hint, hint. Oh, God. I already know what voice I want to do for this character, and... Oh, this might hurt my voice, and I'm gonna have to hope it doesn't peak the mic. Hey there, kiddo! What's your... No. Can't do that. Can't do that. Hey there, kiddo! What's your name? It's... Well, it's Grimoire. Detective Grimoire, and I'm no kid, thank you very much. It sounds like someone needs some candy floss. Did you lose your hat? Oh. I do not need candy floss, and I did not lose my hat. Now, if you don't mind, I need to ask you about last night's murder. Hey! Man, no need to shout. That I did not expect. Can that guy really be a kid's entertainer? Yeah, so, I'm the entertainer here. I entertain kids and stuff. Yeah, I got that from the name. The name of the job description is the entertainer. Why else would you be doing this? That's great. Ricky War, is it? That's it. What do you want, then? Well, I'm not very entertained, that's for sure. How about last night? Right then, I need to know everything you saw last night, in as much detail as you can manage, please. Yeah, I was here all evening. Nothing happened. You have to remember something. Think. I hope he does, or I'll be a little stuck. Well, I guess there was the one thing. Excellent. Please, do go on. I went home pretty late. On my way past here, I saw Hugh. Outside the Hall of Mirrors. Hugh? Yeah, he was heading inside, actually. Mumbling something about leaving the light on. The light? Was it on last night? Yeah, I don't know why, though. Maybe that's why Hugh was going in. To switch it off. Did you notice anything else? I didn't see anything. Not even... well... See that oil by the door to the Hall of Mirrors? That wasn't there when Hugh went in last night. I see. Well, that's very helpful. Thanks, Ricky. Wait, there's one more thing. As I was walking by, I heard a loud squeaking noise. I guess it was probably the Howl of Mirrors door. Wow, You turned out to be useful after all. What? I mean, thanks again. So, Hugh went into the Hall of Mirrors to turn off the light. The oil wasn't on the ground when he went in. And the door let out a screech when he opened it. What does it all mean? This place is officially giving me the creeps. I can clearly see the Hall of Mirrors light shining through the single window. Some oil has been spilt right by the door to the Hall of Mirrors. A clown's red nose? I wonder what it's doing on the ground. Well, may as well go to the crime scene. The mirror has been broken down one side. The door to the hall is not visible in the now shattered reflection. So you can't see the entrance. Interesting. There are some shards of glass on the floor. There don't seem to be very many. This is the scene of the crime, all right. There are some black marks on the ground. Looks like someone tried to wipe something away. There's a large blood stain on the floor. Understandable, really. Unfortunately, that's kind of it. Not much else. Oh, look at that. The big wheel. There aren't many clues back here. And also, nothing really to examine. Why, hello there, young man. Can I help you with something? As a matter of fact, you can. I assume you know all about the murder last night. I'm afraid to say I do. Such a terrible loss. One could barely comprehend it. Well, one is going to have to try. You're the mechanic, right? Peter Nubhat, at your service. I believe you've met my niece, Mandy. Your niece? Oh, yes, I have. I actually don't know if the dialogue changes if you haven't talked to her yet. I might have to look at that. Glad to hear it. I hope she was polite to you. So this is Mandy's uncle, the mechanic. I wonder what I can learn from him. Probably a fair bit. Last night. So, if you don't mind me asking, where were you last night? Well, let's think about that. For most of the evening, I was fixing the back of the funhouse, as always. But I remember leaving relatively early. Thinking upon it now, I'm quite glad that I did. Did you see or hear anything suspicious last night? Anything at all? Well, I did catch a glimpse of young Ricky and Charles arguing over there by the Hall of Mirrors. The entertainer and the clown? Ricky and Charles were arguing outside the Hall of Mirrors last night. What about? I'm not normally one for eavesdropping, of course, but I think it was something to do with being popular with the children. And something about a red nose. I can't remember much else. Maybe you should ask them. I should definitely go back and ask Ricky and Charles about that. It might be important. And now we have all the talking options. I generally prefer to go through these games and go exhaust all the talking options as much as possible before I actually start presenting evidence. Have you worked here long? Oh yes, a very long time. I've seen many staff members come and go, but Gary normally knows how to run things. Gary? Who's that? Gary Coyles, our boss. You'll probably find him in his office. Yes, he's usually capable of making the right decisions. But not always? Is anyone? Does he want me to answer? Oh, good. He looked away. I'm no good at rhetorical questions. Staff relations. How well do you get on with the rest of the staff? As well as could be expected, apart from... I've been known to argue with Charles on a couple of occasions. But most of the people here are guilty of that. He's so difficult sometimes. Sounds like Pete doesn't have much love for Charles the clown. Fairground State. So, you like the way things are run around here? Most of the time, yes. I think I could say that. I'm not the only one to think that the funhouse has seen better days. Hugh never really enjoyed his job, I don't think. Hugh let the funhouse fall into a state of disarray. Yes, I'm afraid so. My niece Mandy often complains of it to me. I tell her not to cause trouble, but I know she could do a better job any day. So Pete knows of his niece's desire to run the funhouse. Let's move on to the food court. Are you Jerry Spears? The police tell me you were the one to discover the murder last night. You got it. That was pretty scary stuff, I tell you. I can imagine. You're the cleaner here at the fairground, am I correct? I prefer the term refuge engineer, actually. Oh, sure. I'm sorry. You look quite young to be working here. Too young to be working at a fun fair? Most of the guys here are too old, that's what I say. Yeah, I am the youngest person here, but being young has its perks, you know? Cleaner or not, I have a feeling this guy is going to have some important information on him. Obviously, I'll need you to recount the events of last night. You're an important witness. Don't worry, man. I've been going over this in my head since last night. I haven't forgotten a single detail. I'll bet. I stayed pretty late. I was cleaning up around here all evening. Eventually, I went around the whole fairground to give it a final clean. That's when I went to the Hall of Mirrors and found Hugh. You weren't the last person here, though, right? That's right. Mandy was still here, working away, so I ran to find her. We called the police as soon as they'd arrived. After we gave our statements, we were allowed to leave. And that's it? Yeah. Why? Did I forget something? So, you normally stay around the food court? Naturally. This is the area that needs the most cleaning. Did you notice anything else yesterday? Seems like you have a pretty good view from here. A good view? You bet. I did notice a couple things. I got here real early, you see, before the boss. I saw Pete coming from the direction of the office this morning. He put something in that bin there. And then went into the toilet cubicle. Is that right? I bet he probably scribbled some stupid message on the wall in there. People are always using it as a message board. Oh, so like the BBS and Battle Network. Honestly, it's just extra work for me, you know? Sounds like I need to check out that bin and the toilet cubicle. The fun fair is so run down. How has it not been shut down by health inspectors? I get that a lot. Why have they even employed a cleaner, you're thinking? Apparently, the abandoned look is very popular with the kids these days. We create everything to look old and rusted and dirty, but in fact, it's all incredibly clean. That table behind me is only a couple days old. Hold on. How do you tell when things really do get dirty? Well, you see, I guess I have no idea. Makes my job easier, don't you think? More time to take in the sights. The sights? What do you mean by the sights? Oh, well, trees and birds and whatnot. Stuff like that, right? I haven't noticed a single tree or bird since I've been here. I think Jerry is hiding something. I love this part. And now we get to eye contact interrogation. When a character is hiding something, you must perform an eye contact interrogation, ECI, to get the truth out of them. You control Grimoire's eye movements with your mouse. Hold your cursor to the left of his face to look away from the suspect. As soon as they begin lying, you should be able to tell there will be a white flash. Move your cursor to the right to look them in the eye. If you get it right, they will break down and tell you the truth. Now move your mouse over to the back button and click to start eye contact interrogation. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to let this fail at first, just so I could get all the dialogue. But it is, like, very quick. This whole thing is less than a minute. What is it that you love to stare at all day? Or should I just take a guess? I just sort of go into my own little world. I'm only a kid. That's what we do. I think it's something a little more specific than that. Like, what? There's nothing. Just give it up, okay? So, yeah. Very quick. And now, after Grimoire's second statement, boom! Like Mandy Farrier. What? Why her? What's so special about... Okay, I can't. I give in. I can't help myself. She's so perfect. Can you blame me? You stay in the food court so you can stare at Mandy all day. Don't you think that's a little... creepy? I'll bet I'm the least creepy person you've spoken to here at the fairground. Don't judge me so harshly. Don't worry, kid, I won't say anything. Still, maybe you should get a hobby or something. Don't worry, kid. I feel so old. Anyway, Jerry, creepy as he is, wasn't lying about that. I guess he's only young. I wonder what Mandy thinks of him. So, yes, we're going to have to do ECI to every suspect in order to determine whether they are innocent or suspicious. And, yeah, that's kind of the unique mechanic of this game. It's an interesting idea, I'll give it that, if a bit undercooked. This place is a food court. I'm not sure I'd want to eat here myself. Unfortunately, there's not much to examine. They appear to have some sort of chili dish on special. But he said there was something Pete threw away, so let's look. Just click on this stuff and drag it. I found a pair of blue wire cutters in the bin. Let's go into the toilet real quick, as you do. Good God, this thing is terrible. There's a drawing depicting Hugh getting hit by lightning. It has been drawn in green pen. Yay, I'm in a toilet cubicle. My glamorous, high-profile detective life is going smoothly. There's an argument written on the wall about clowns. It seems to have been written by two different people. And that's basically all that's in here. And finally, we have the fairground office. There's a wardrobe here which holds the costumes for use in the fairground. Ah! This office is a real mess. I wonder why. I could ask Mr. Coils about that. The wire providing power to the water cooler has been cut. How interesting. The calendar on the wall says, "Get home early" on last night's entry. Maybe I should ask Mr. Coils about this. There was no green pen in the set of pens. The pot looks like it has been knocked over. How fascinating. How did you get in here? This is staff-only area. Well, I just sort of knocked, and you opened the door for me. Do you not remember? Ah, yes, I remember now. You're the local inspector come to sort out this mess, right? I prefer detective, actually. And yes, that's right. My mistake. I was led to believe detectives wore hats. That's all. I don't like this guy already. I'm Gary Coils. I run the fairground. Probably not for much longer with the way things are going. A murder in my very own grounds. I can imagine it must be difficult times, but that's where I come in, you see. I'm wondering how helpful this guy is really gonna be. Still, it's my job to try. One brief second, just so I can take a drink of water. I've been talking for like almost an hour now. Ah, okay. What about last night? Would you mind explaining to me what you were doing yesterday evening? Yesterday? Why, oh yes, the murder. I'd quite forgotten. I remember myself being annoyed yesterday. Quite dehydrated, yes. Oh, that's fitting. I remember coming in shortly before lunch and putting the various costumes into the wardrobe like usual. So Coils brings in the costumes himself, and he arrived shortly before lunch? Anyway, it was quite hot out, you see. My office gets awfully stuffy in the sun, and I couldn't find any way to cool down. That's, well, all important, I suppose. When did you leave in the evening? I always stay later than everyone else, and go over the fairground for a final check before I leave. Well, I normally do. I think I did last night. I don't see why I wouldn't. There was nothing special going on. Sounds like Coils is unsure about when he left last night. Maybe there's a clue in here somewhere that can help me get the truth out of him? Gee, I wonder what I need to present to him. Have you been the manager of the fairground long? As long as I can remember, to be honest. So, about 5 minutes then? I take great pride in ensuring a safe environment for all my staff and all my public. Some of the staff has been urging me to get rid of Hugh for a while. Did you know he was nearly completely deaf? I didn't, actually. Who was trying to get rid of Hugh, then? Well, neither Charles nor Pete particularly loved him. He caused more problems than he solved, that's for sure. Doesn't sound like Hugh was very popular around here. But who was it that finally decided to get rid of him? I wish it did not push me out of it every time I finished with one piece of dialogue. I noticed your office was in a bit of a mess. Doesn't particularly surprise me, but there's no harm in asking, right? Yes, well, I can assure you that I keep this office perfectly tidy under normal circumstances. I haven't really had the time to clear up recently. So the mess is your fault. Well, who else would it be? There is one odd thing. My favorite green pen has gone missing from the pot on the desk. It probably got lost in the mess somewhere, but I noticed it disappeared from my room quite suddenly yesterday. After I came back from lunch, I think. So, was someone in here during the time Coils went for lunch? You told me you couldn't find a way to cool down yesterday. What about the water cooler over there? You're quite right, of course. The water cooler you was in fact broken when I came into work yesterday. That is... I don't know why, but that sentence is weirdly worded, in my opinion. Not knowing much about these things myself, I called in Pete, our mechanic, to fix it. You can't see that the line has been cut? I think that was around lunchtime. I left him to get on with it as I went to lunch. You left him in here alone. Did he fix it? Come to think of it, he did. I really should press him on that. I didn't actually see him again that day, actually. Pete was in here alone while Coils went to lunch. Alright. Now that we've exhausted the majority of the talk options for the characters, aside from a few, it's time to finally start presenting actual clues. Actually, we'll do that in a minute. Because let's go inside the funhouse. Once again, just move the wooden planks out of the way. It was a tight squeeze, but I got through. I hope there's something worthwhile in here. It's possible to see the Hall of Mirrors window through the window here. I can see that the light is on. This place is just as run down as everywhere else. Oh. That's incriminating. Whoa, this has to be the murder weapon. And what's this? A brightly colored rag tied around the glass shard? 2 clues at once. He is not exaggerating. That is actually 2 clues. It's the records that Hugh is keeping. You can get rid of all these papers to look through them, but go for the one on the left. The victim's to-do list. It's been added to with a green pen. Indeed it has. Unfortunately, you can't really get a closer look at it. But now that we've gotten pretty much all the clues, let's start talking to everyone and presenting them. I really haven't got a moment to spare to help you with that. Sorry. Now, every suspect has some unique responses to specific clues, obviously. But there are some that are basically just generic response. I don't have any information on that. I'll show you the generic response once, but I'll mostly keep it to the unique stuff if I can help it. If I run into a generic response after the first time, I'll just edit it out. But yes, this basically works the same way as it would in an Ace Attorney game. Just present it to them. Hey, that's my pen. Went missing last night. Should be with the others on the desk. Hold on, it's nearly run out. Someone has been using it. Oh, you don't say. Hugh was always writing to-do lists and then never to doing them. What's that side note? Looks like it was written on my favorite green pen. You found the murder weapon? Yikes. Does it help us out, though? I don't know, maybe. That rag looks like it comes from Charles's costumes. It's got a nasty black smear on it. That's not like Charles at all. That's one of Ringer's noses. I keep loads of them spare in the cupboard. He's always losing them. I have no idea why. Ugh, don't remind me about that. What am I supposed to do? You're telling me it's not broken? It's been sabotaged? This is an outrage. Water coolers just aren't safe anymore. I'm glad I'm not a water cooler. What kind of response is that? Yeah, that's the pot with the missing pen. I need all the primary and secondary colors, damn it. And finally, the calendar. It's like I said, I normally stay late and give the fairground a final check before I go home. But this calendar is clearly reminding you to go home early, last night. Did you or did you not leave early last night? Well, you know, a bit of both. Coils is definitely hiding something from me. Time to get to the truth. You told me you normally give the fairground a final check before you go home. I think something was luring you away from the fairground early last night. Would you mind telling me what? I don't know. I've never been good at keeping time. As far as I can remember, I didn't leave particularly early. There's nothing I can think of that would drag me away like that. So, you know, that's it, right? And now for the actual one. There's nothing particularly special about the unique dialogue. It's just, well, I'm trying to give you as much information as possible. I mean, nothing, except maybe, well, spill it. Okay, I'll admit, I rushed home early last night to watch the Star Explorer all-night marathon on Channel 18. I'm sorry. You... what? It was wrong, I know. I just couldn't let a viewing opportunity like that pass me by. My fellow explorers would laugh at me. Well, I suppose you've, learned your lesson? This guy's a little weird, but he's not lying about this. Not for a second. And just like that, he's innocent. Just like Jerry. And now we can actually start going through these a bit more. This is definitely going to take me a minute. Sorry, I can't help you with that. There's your generic response. Oh, boy. Mandy always brings those books into work. As soon as things quiet down around here, she gets them out and begins to read through them furiously. I guess that's what happened to the rest of the smashed mirror. That's part of Charles's costume. It's covered in oil. That's really odd. Charles is one of the cleanest people I know. Maybe you should go show it to him. That oil was there when I discovered Hugh last night, but I hadn't noticed it before then. I probably would have cleaned it up if I had. I noticed that oil smear when I went in and discovered Hugh last night. Oil smear? Yep. It looks like someone hastily tried to clean up an oil spillage. It hasn't really worked. Interesting. That's the mirror, all right. I noticed it's only broken down one side. What's that about? Don't you think there should be a few more shards than that? Where's the rest of the mirror? Did you find that in the bin? If I'm not mistaken, that's the exact thing that Pete put in there yesterday morning. He came from the office. Maybe he borrowed them off the boss? Alright, so that's the rest of the dialogue for Jerry. Moving on. I know normally people probably don't care about this, but I figure I may as well show as much of the unique dialogue as possible, just so I can say that this is showing off basically everything. No, I'm afraid I don't recognize it. There's Pete's generic response. Yes, Mandy needs her books. You should ask her about them if you want to know about it. I've not seen that before. You may as well throw it away. The ink has nearly run out. Yeah, I bet. Good old Hugh trying to be organized. I don't think he ever completed any of his lists, you know. Well, that's a weapon, all right. Looks very difficult to hold. What if the person was wearing gloves? I suppose. Then I suppose they'd be able to hold it. That's nothing to do with me, young man. I don't even know what it is. He looked away from me when he said that. You're telling me this red nose was found outside the scene of the crime? Gosh. This is really bad news for Charles. I assume he has his reasons. Maybe you should show it to him. That oil must have dripped off the roof. I'm pretty sure it's been there for quite a while. Really? You sure about that? That it wouldn't have, like, dried or been wiped up at any point? Honestly, some people just don't know how to keep their shoes clean. I bet it was that idiot Charles Ringer. Hey, buddy, I noticed that one of your things is empty. Just saying. This whole affair, it really is a terrible shame. Look at all that glass. Someone should sweep it up before it does any damage. You know, there's not all that much glass considering the size of the crack in the mirror. What? Sorry, I must have gone into a daze for a moment. I don't think I've ever seen those before. They're a little dirty. Where on earth did you find them? In the bin, actually. By the food court. Well, I suppose that explains why they're dirty. Doesn't take a genius to see that Pete is avoiding the obvious here. These wire cutters, I'm quite convinced they come from your tool belt. What do you think? Well, they could have fallen off of any tool belt. They're not even the right color. They are exactly the same as all the tools on your belt. There's even one space empty. Oh, well, I suppose you're right. They must have fallen off my belt when I was having lunch and someone found them and put them in the bin. I'm not convinced at all. Still, seems like that's all he's going to say on the subject. Graffiti, put there by some untidy youth, no doubt. Honestly, Ricky and Charles are so immature sometimes. Mr. Coyle should really take greater care over his belongings. Why on earth would you show me that? And, yeah, there wasn't actually much in the way of generic dialogue. Pete actually has the most unique responses. I wonder why. Oh, God. We have still a fair amount of dialogue. The answer to this mystery is quite obvious, but, you know, we gotta show off everything. Can you tell me anything else about the fairground? I can't think of anything. We're all one big happy family. Yep, that's right. Is that so? Yeah, well, a few people thought Hugh was a waste of space, but he was kind of like the fun house as a tip. It's not really safe. I remember Farrier always said she could do a better job running it. Other staff. So you're sure you get on with everyone here at the fairground? Yeah, I just kind of keep to myself usually. I'm not thoroughly convinced. Argument with Charles. Pete told me he saw you and Charles arguing outside the Hall of Mirrors last night. Can you explain yourself? I don't really argue much. Ricky's holding back. Should I push him? Yes, push him into the Hall of Mirrors. See what happens. You, a suspect, were seen arguing outside the scene of the crime with Charles, another suspect, on the evening of the murder. You're going to have to tell me what this is all about. Ellipses. That's not an answer. I don't see what... Ugh. I get on fine with Charles. No problem. God, trying to read this fast is like murder on my throat. You're lying. I'm certain you don't get on with Charles at all. Hey, man. No need to shout, like I said. Tell me the truth, then. Right, well, I don't get on with Charles. We do argue. It's always the same. The kids make fun of him and so on. He gets annoyed, tries to take it out on me. Nothing ever comes of it. Nothing. Well, I suppose that clears that up. I'm beginning to think that this argument was a red herring. Someone is trying to distract me. If you are curious, I do have to do this anyway. I can't just go to Officer James and tell him who I think it is. I have to explicitly clear everyone's innocence, and that means going through all of their EICs. So, yeah, I have to talk to them anyway. Ah, boy, time for dialogue time. Nope. Nothing. That green writing. That's not Hugh's writing. Why is it there anyway? Interesting. Is that the murder weapon? It's come from a smashed mirror, right? Indeed it has. That's not mine. No way. It belongs to Ringer. You might want to show that to Ringer. The clown? Well, yes, Grimoire. Who else would be wearing the bright red squeaky nose? That oil. It definitely wasn't there last night. Not when I saw Hugh, anyway. Those marks. They're not normally there. Nope. I was wondering, see? The mirror was smashed down one side, and it's a big crack. Where's the rest of it? Gee, it's not like I showed you where it is. I'm just holding around this giant mirror in my pocket. I've seen that on a belt, I think. Why? Oh, I don't know what that is. Sorry. Alright, I'll admit, Ringer and I have our little quarrels. See, I drew a picture of some kids pulling off his nose, right? That's gold. So this graffiti has come from Ricky and Charles. Alright, so that's it for the unique dialogue from him, from Ricky, now to Mandy, and then just Charles, and we can wrap this whole thing up. Which is good because my throat is killing me. Your uncle. I spoke to your uncle, Peter Nubhat. You could have told me that the mechanic was your uncle. Did I not mention that? I don't really think anything of it, I guess. Uncle Pete's a good guy. He works hard. Sometimes a little too hard, I think. Well, that was a nice conversation. And if you present the old toy to her, it is literally just the exact same as the dialogue branch in, like, the main talking point. I don't know why they give you two different ways to do this. Oh, they're just for when I get bored, you know? It can get pretty quiet around here. There are an awful lot of them. Are you sure they're just for light reading? Yeah, I mean, why else would I need them? I'm not sure about this, but I can't help thinking those books have something to do with what Mindy was... Mindy? What Mandy was doing last night. No, this is not the grim adventures of Billy... It would be Billy and Mandy. Oh my god, my brain is dying. Can you tell me why those books are all over your desk? What are you up to? Can't a girl have a hobby? I don't see why you're getting so worked up. I haven't even looked at half of them. So leave me alone, okay? Okay, you win. I'll tell you what I'm up to since you seem so eager to know. I'm studying for my exams, and these are all my revision books. I need to bring them to the fairground because it's the only chance I get to go over them. Is that why you stayed late last night? That's right. I stay late most nights and use the time alone to get some work done. My exams are in 2 weeks, and I'm totally unprepared. That makes sense. Why did you keep it from me, though? I'm not sure. I suppose I was worried you'd think I was weird, bringing my revision books to work like this? Don't worry. I don't think you're weird. Now I'm the one who's been caught lying. Either way, I'm pretty sure this clears up Mandy's alibi. I think I can believe her about this. Yeah, seems like a fairly understandable reason. Now to present a bunch of stuff to her she probably doesn't know about. Never mind. That pen was lying there when I got here this morning. It's not normally there. Is it important? That green writing isn't Hugh's handwriting. It looks familiar, though. I wonder why Mandy has seen that other handwriting before. Gee, I wonder where she's seen it. Is that the murder weapon? Ouch! I hope this place doesn't become a hunting ground now that there's been a murder. Poor Huey. Did she just call the victim Huey? I must be imagining things. I like to imagine that that was a reference to the video game Haunting Ground, but I'm probably reaching. Side note, go play Haunting Ground. It is a great survival horror game. Capcom, why haven't you released a remaster of it? I haven't got a clue. That's kind of funny what I said, don't you think? Am I allowed to say no? And there's your generic dialogue. Those belong to Uncle Peter. I know because I bought him the complete set for his birthday last year. Why were Pete's wire cutters in the bin? What was he using them for? I think we've already figured that out, Grimoire. Charles and Ricky are always arguing. They're both pretty nice guys, really. Nothing ever comes of it. I guess they really do argue all the time. I suppose it's not important after all. Alright, that's all her unique dialogue. One more. Hey, Charles. Actually, let's just present a bunch... Well, actually, no. Let's get the remaining dialogue out of the way, since there's only one left. The argument with Ricky. Peter Nubhat told me that he saw you and Ricky arguing outside the Hall of Mirrors last night. This sounds like a serious matter. Would you mind telling me what it's all about? Ricky and I are always arguing. It's no big deal, really. He's just the argumentative type. You're better off grilling him about this. Maybe I should ask Ricky about this. Not like I've already done that. They give you so many options to ask these guys, both in evidence and dialogue, and it's often, like, so much of the same thing. Alright, dialogue time. Is that gonna help me out? It doesn't look promising. It sure doesn't. I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. I'm not so sure about this. That red nose was found outside the crime scene. There's only one guy around here with a red nose, and it's not Rudolph, if you catch my drift. Okay, so it's a red nose, but I have no idea how it got there, honestly. I'm almost certain Charles is holding back, but why? This red nose was found outside the scene of the crime. Can you tell me why it was lying on the ground instead of your face? You're getting on my nerves, you know, shoving stuff in my face like that. Besides, I never lose my red noses. Why would I? Oh. Alright, I'll tell you why I was lying on the ground if you really must know. Success! It didn't fall off my face. In fact, it was pulled off yesterday by some of the kids that came to the fairground. They were making fun of me, and I was just trying to keep my cool. Are you happy now? That's not the sort of thing you'd happily make up. I think I can believe Charles on this one. And back to presenting more clues. I can't believe such a thing could happen in our fairground. I mean, it's not exactly perfect, but a murder? Someone drew that on the bathroom wall? That's a pretty stupid move if you ask me. What a nasty shade of green, too. I mean, it's not a bad shade of green. Yeah, I'll admit to that one. Ricky and I are always arguing about petty stuff like that. It's childish, I know, but hey, this is a fun fair, right? I mean, I guess. That's the murder weapon? Looks pretty sharp. Could you even hold that without hurting yourself? Probably not. And last piece of evidence. That's... It's a piece of cloth ripped from your clown costume, that's what. Why do you have it? It was found wrapped around the murder weapon, I'm afraid. Looks like your luck has just ran out. Wait, I can explain. I get my costume from the wardrobe in the boss's office. He brings in the costumes when he comes into work and places them in the wardrobe. I arrived at the fairground just after lunch. I went in to get my costume and found that it had a hole in it. Besides, look at this rag. It's really not like me to damage my own clothes. It's covered in some black stuff. I suppose it would be pretty stupid to wrap the murder weapon in your own clothes. Why don't you go and talk to the boss, Mr. Coils? He's normally in his office, just over in the corner of the fairground. He is indeed. The thing is, I don't really need to. We have everyone. And now it's time to talk to Officer James about who we think the culprit is, if it wasn't already obvious. Hey, it looks like you've got your suspect. Are you ready to give your final conclusion? Yeah, let's do it. Now, you can say someone else. Obviously, the answer we're going to go for is Pete. Pete Nubhat, the mechanic. However, if you say someone else, which there's two bits of funny dialogue options here. That's you, Grimoire. You're not admitting to murder, are you? And if you select James, don't even think about it. If you click on them, that can't be right. Did you miss something? It is sort of a game over, but also not really. You can just immediately try again. This also applies to what we're about to do next. If you choose the wrong option from a series of dialogue options in this next segment, you'll have to just do it all again, but it begins from here, so that's not a bad thing. It doesn't take long. So yeah, Pete. What was the murder weapon? Well, clearly this. It even coughs to let you know. It's like, of course. These soft toys. The green marker. I hope not. I really don't think so. The first thing Pete did was cut the wire. God, my... You know what? Oh, thank God this is done soon. The first thing Pete did was to cut the wire for Coil's water cooler. He left his wire cutters in the bin outside. His first mistake. But why would Pete Why did Pete cut the wire from the water cooler? So he would be called in to fix it. Coils then arrives, bringing with him the costumes for the day. He notices that the water cooler is broken and calls in Pete to fix it during lunch. Pete goes in the office, takes the green pen from the desk, and rips a section off Charles' costume. He eventually uses the pen to draw a picture. Pete drew a picture with the stolen green marker. Where? In the toilet cubicle. By this time, Charles had arrived. He goes into the office and takes his ripped clown costume from the cupboard. Later, Pete visits the Hall of Mirrors to smash the mirror. He takes the largest shard that falls and wraps it up in Charles's rag. Why did he wrap the glass shard in the torn rag? To frame Charles' ringer, obviously. Before leaving, he leaves on the main light. He then hides in the empty game stall where he accidentally leaves behind his green marker. Hugh sees the Hall of Mirrors light through the window in his office. As he goes in to turn the light off, the door lets out a loud squeak. So how did the oil end up outside the Hall of Mirrors? Because Pete oiled the door before going in. Pete follows, but as to not attract any unwanted attention, he hastily oils the door to silence it before entering, causing a spillage by the door. Hugh has been distracted by the broken mirror, but cannot see behind him. For the mirror, it is cracked down the side that would normally reflect the door. Where did the black smears on the hall floor come from? Pete wiped up more oil to create the smears. Pete stabs Hugh in the back with the glass shard. On his way out, he notices he has spilt more oil on the floor. He hastily wipes it up with Charles's rag. Before making his exit, Pete hides the murder weapon along with the only oily rag behind a frame in Hugh's very own office. Alright, Grimoire, what was Pete's motive for murder? He wanted to frame Charles Ringer. He hated having to fix the funhouse. He wanted Mandy to run the funhouse. The option is all of the above. Roll credits. It's a nice little funny animation. I'll talk a little bit more after these are done. So, yeah, that is Detective Grimoire. Overall, it's a small, fun game. I can definitely see why it would have been popular enough to be turned into an official game many years later. Like, this came out in 2007. I want to say the game that everyone else is familiar with came out in the 2010s. Maybe 2013. I'll have to double check. But yeah, it's fun and quaint, but there are definitely some oddities about it. They definitely made a better decision going with a slightly more cartoony or artistic style for the later games. And the music is fine in this first game, but nothing that special compared to the music in later games. We'll get to that. The suspect is incredibly obvious. There's not too much to do, like, not a lot of fluff dialogue. It's basically it's fun, but nothing too special. You're not missing much if you skip this game, but I'd still recommend trying it out. Granted, I have showed you everything about it. There's not much left. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. A nice, fun little time. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment down below. Any support helps. And please go show the developers your support with the actual official Detective Grimoire games. And I will see you next time for the Detective Grimoire game that everyone is familiar with, Secret of the Swamp. Have a good night.